Tanya Moses here, and I'm so excited to have this next guest on the show today. Now, I would never say this in my life, I think, but I'm really excited to be talking about sleep training. And this woman is amazing. So her name is Tamiko Kelly, and she's the founder of Sleep Well, Wake Happy. And she's also the creator of the Feel Like Yourself Again baby sleep solution. As a certified sleep consultant and holistic health practitioner, Tamiko helps tired moms feel like themselves again by teaching them how to get their babies sleeping through the night. She has spent over 50,000 hours sleep training babies, and many of her clients have called her a miracle worker, as they have been overjoyed after her methods restored sleep to their homes. Tamiko is an international speaker who has shared the stage with Dr. Harvey Karp of The Happiest Baby on the Block and Dr. Jen Mann of VH1's Couple Therapy. Oh my goodness, so much good stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about her experience later, but let's go ahead and welcome her. Welcome, Tamiko.
Hey, hello.
Hi. So, oh my gosh, now it's been a while since I've had to get babies down. now, right now, I'm trying to get a 9 and 10-year-old down. But I know there's so many of our single mamas who are new mamas or who have babies right now and toddlers who are like, oh yes, please share your wisdom. I think you are like the baby whisperer. So
yes.
So why don't you share with us kind of like, how did you get started? When did you know you were the baby whisperer? When did that happen?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. So I did not even know that sleep was an issue for parents. I did not even realize that what I was doing was a thing. I started my journey into entrepreneurship in San Francisco, and I was just a date night nanny. So I had a corporate job. And at night, I would just do date nights for the moms in my community. And so I was the one putting the kids to sleep. I put them down, would order pizza, watch TV. You know how the babysitting thing works. And the parents would come home and they would be like, oh my God, where is Sally? And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? It's 2:00 in the morning. Sally has been asleep since 7 p.m. And they were like, holy moly. How did you do that? So I just began, showing them what I was doing. And literally overnight, I had a business sleep training babies.
That is amazing. I mean, and I think that's the key, is just knowing when you've got something,
Yes.
You're like, this is really special.
Exactly. It's like, oh, okay, this is very interesting. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's amazing. I really wish you were around when my little ones were little, the babies.
Oh my gosh, I hear that all the time. They're like, where were you when my kids were little?
You're like, I was developing so that I could bring this to the world now.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so with all of that now, so for our mamas out there who are like, okay, well, my baby's 6 months old and they're just crying all the time. I can't get them down. I don't know what to do. I've tried the, walking around and singing and the bouncing up and down. There's so many different ways we try to get our children to sleep. Like, where do you even begin? Like, I assume that you have to make set an intention, like, this is what I'm going to do.
Well, and
I'm going to get my baby.
Yeah, I mean, basically what it boils down to, and it's what I tell moms all the time, is like, I can tell you ad nauseum about what to do, but if you're not ready to do the work, nothing I'm going to tell you is going to make a lick of difference. So the first thing you have to do is say, I'm done with my baby's lack of sleep. Now, some single moms could be co-sleeping, some could be breastfeeding to sleep, some could be doing like what you just said, walking and bouncing the babies around to sleep. Whatever the situation is in your house right now, you have to make a conscious decision to say, I'm done with this. I want to be able to sleep all night. I want my baby to be able to sleep all night, because that is the biggest and most important step of the entire sleep training process.
And that, I mean, that makes complete sense because, we talk energetically speaking, our babies, our children feel that energy whenever we're feeling anxious and overwhelmed. And if we're trying to get a baby down and they're like, I'm feeling anxious too, but you're not
Right,
helping.
exactly. It's like, oh, it's like we're all like a big old ball of anxiety. So
Right.
so it's like once you figured out, okay, yes, Tamiko, I'm ready to move on to do the work. I mean, I think, the second thing you have to do, and this to me is the most important too, is pick one person to listen to. I think the biggest mistake moms make is listening to Aunt Sally, Aunt Sue, the pastor at church, your girlfriend the next tab over, homegirl in your Facebook group. It's just too much. Like you have to pick one person who you're going to ride or die for during sleep training, because if not, all you're going to do is be more frustrated than when you started. And you're going to be like, nothing works. All I can do is blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's not really the truth. The truth is that you're just not focused enough to know what's working and what's not working.
Right. I love that. We should officially call you the ride or die sleep training expert.
I love that. That's awesome. Put that on a t-shirt, ride or die.
Right.
And so, and then,
I love
once
that.
you've done one and two, I mean, I think, the biggest thing that I, help my moms do in my course is to figure out what is the biggest opportunity here. Like, what's your biggest area of opportunity? Because it could seem very overwhelming. Can you, like, you probably know this, like if you have a baby who's not sleeping, you're just like, they just want sleep. And but I'm like, but it's more than that. Like,
Hmm.
are they not sleeping the first half of the night? Are they waking up all night? Are you having to rock them to sleep? Are you having to bounce them to sleep? So I help moms figure out what the real problem is, because the worst thing that you could do is try to solve something that's not the real problem. That's a symptom of the bigger problem. So I help you get down to the meat of what is the real problem.
That's wonderful. And I mean, that's definitely important. I think moms, when we're in it, it's hard to try to think about what the real
Right.
problem is. It's really like, oh my gosh, I just need this to just the crying or the just lack of sleep
Right.
needs to stop, So feeling that overwhelm. So okay, so when you're starting to excuse me, when you're starting to work with the client and you're going through the process of sleep training, what are some of the challenges that might come up?
I think the biggest one is consistency, and moms probably hear this all the time, but I mean, it really is the biggest hurdle to being successful. If you're not consistent with whatever plan we come up with, you're gonna keep running around. I always say you're gonna keep knocking your head against the wall, doing the same thing over and over again, and not getting any results. And then to that point, consistency is affected when you're not surrounded by the right people. So if you have people in your life who are saying, "Oh, babies will go sleep when they're ready," and it's totally normal for a baby who's 8 months to be waking up 25 times a night, and oh my God, you're supposed to breastfeed your baby whenever they're hungry. It's totally fine. So like if you're surrounded by people who are like giving you all of that energy and you're trying to shift something, it makes your job more difficult than what it has to be.
So hear that, mamas. So you got to say
Right.
goodbye, not forever,
Not
but
forever.
not forever. I'm not saying get rid of your friends, no, but but know who the expert is. And I know everybody's well-meaning. We all have those people in our lives who are just wanting to help us and wanting to support us. But I think in this case, it's really nice to have someone like Tamiko who is an expert. This is what she does. Like she's got countless clients who are just saying that she's amazing. So I definitely
Yeah,
listen to her. Listen to
for sure.
her. Now, so Tamiko, when have you ever had a client that just did everything and it just
No,
did not work?
I've never had that
What do you
happen
do in
ever.
that case?
I've
No,
never
okay.
had that happen. Hashtag thank you, baby Jesus. But no, I've never had that happen ever in life.
Well, that's oh my gosh. So that's so wonderful. So okay, so let's review. So the first thing is sort of setting that intention, right? And make committing to yourself like this is what I'm going to do. and I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to put my energy into this, and then not deviating from the plan, right? And then working with someone such as yourself, who is a professional, who's an expert, who knows what's the lay of the land, like what's my next step, and how do I maneuver through these challenges when they do arise. And then I think the third one you were saying is, you know, only listening to that expert and not necessarily saying goodbye to our family and friends and their advice, but recognizing that we all have, so many different experiences that when you have someone who has this tried and true
Right.
plan, it's probably
Agreed.
better to go that route. Awesome. So, okay, so you mentioned that you have a program for sleep training now. Is this a program that you do with your clients one
So
on one, or
the
is it an
program
online
actually
program?
started off as in home with clients. So even now to this day, I still fly all around the country and I help moms in their home sleep train their babies. And that's how my program came to be. I basically took what I was doing in person in homes with parents all over the US and turned it into an easy to digest implementable system that any tired mom could take and be able to help her baby get a good night's sleep. So it's 6 steps, and it's basically what I've distilled over my 50,000 hours of sleep training, and it's proven to work with even the most difficult babies. So if you're listening to me right now, you're just like, oh no, Tamiko, that sounds great. It's not gonna work for my baby girl. Listen to me and listen very closely. It will work for your baby because we've had some very spirited toddlers in our program, and they now sleep 12 hours in a row. So I'm telling you, it will work for all babies. I think the biggest difference between my program and many that are out on the market right now is that I really focus on your baby's personality because that is going to be the blueprint that you're going to use to be able to help them get a good night's sleep.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that you're
Right.
considering the children in all of this, because oftentimes we think of the mamas and the dads who are, trying to get the babies to sleep and what they're feeling and how they're, trying to get through this. But definitely, I think it's
Yeah,
important to know what's going on with
they
the
can.
babies, because they can tell us a lot. They can tell us a lot if we
Right.
just,
And I think that
take a
that's
step
a
back
really
and
big
actually listen.
challenge for many parents, especially if you have multiple kids in your home and you have one kid who was super easy and then you got a second kid who you're just like, holy moly, what's happening right now? And so it could be very hard when you have attention pulled in two different directions, to do what you just said, to listen to your child and let them tell you what they need. Especially if you've been stuck in a cycle of sleeplessness. At this point, you're just so exhausted, you don't even know what day of the week it is, let alone what your child's trying to tell you. So it's definitely helpful to have somebody else, an unbiased third party, to help you through that for sure.
Right. Okay. So going back to, how the parents are feeling, when we start feeling that overwhelm and that frustration and just like, I can't get this, even with the training, do you have some tips on how, our mamas can like, really still pay attention to their well-being and their, their emotional, their physical
Yeah, I mean, I
well-being while
think
they're going through this process?
the first thing that you definitely have to do is have support. So even if you are a single mom and you don't have, and you're no longer married to your partner, having support of your friends or family while you're sleep training could really make a huge difference. I've had clients have girlfriends come over and spend the night and be like, hey girl, we got to rotate this thing during the night. I can't do it all. And so they, kind of tag team it throughout the night. And it's especially important if if you're a mom who's dealing with postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety or other emotional traumas or things that happen after the birth of a child. It's very important that you get support because I've worked with moms who were dealing with childhood trauma, so they were traumatized in their childhood, and so when they had a baby, all that came back up for them. And so sleep training was very difficult for them because of those previous traumas. And so I think it's important that we as women recognize that and raise our hand and say, I need help. I cannot do this by myself. And it doesn't make me a weak mama, doesn't make me a diva for asking for help. It's what I need to be the best mom for my kiddo. So that's the first thing I would definitely recommend. And then I would also, say to just be patient with yourself. You're learning a new skill. This is not going to happen overnight, So like, if you're a type A mama who gets everything right the first time, this may, drive you bananas because you're just like, oh my God, why isn't it working? So just be patient with yourself and be patient with your baby because y'all are learning a new skill, but it's a new skill that's going to serve you well for many, many years to come. I've had moms come through my program when the baby was 4 months. Their child is 4 years old now, the only one of their friends who sleeps all night in their room 12 hours in a row with no drama. So the skills that like you're teaching your baby will serve them for years to come.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm still like, man, why weren't you around?
I know. It's like, oh my
Life could look
goodness.
so different,
Well, and I think that's really why, Kenya, I'm really
No.
like, that's why I'm talking to your listeners today because most moms, I still talk to moms to this day who don't even know that there are people like myself who sleep train babies. And so I really, really want to stand up and say, you can get help. You do not have to live your life that way. It is a way out. There is a different way. And I'm happy to be your tour guide and walk you into to help you feel like yourself again.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, I hear that you have a webinar coming up
I
soon.
have a
Do you want to
webinar
share
where
that with
I
your
basically
listeners?
walk moms through the 5 steps to get your baby to sleep. It's basically the building blocks of sleep training, and it's what I've seen in all of my years. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, so over a decade. And these are the steps that I've seen that if you don't follow these steps, sleep training is just not going to happen. No matter how much you want it to happen, it just ain't happening, girl. So these are the steps that you need to follow. I walk you, through all of that on the webinar. And then, of course, for those who want to work real closely with me, I tell you all about my sleep training program, the Feel Like Yourself Again Baby Sleep Solution.
Wonderful. Now, I'm going to have all of Tamiko's information up on the website. So you'll have her website, which is sleepwellwakehappy.com. And then I'll have the webinar link on there as well so that you guys can sign up for it. I think it's going to be amazing. You definitely, if you do anything, this week, next week, I think hop on that webinar and learn some techniques to help you get your baby sleeping through the
Yes.
night and really helping you get your sanity back, get your time back.
It's just so
and-
critical, Kenya.
and
I
your
mean, I can't tell
precious
you how many
sleep.
moms tell me, oh, I just thought that my baby would auto magically sleep through the night. And I'm like, girl, if they're 8 months, 12 months, if they haven't done it by now, it's not going to happen. Let's stop wishing on a star and let's start doing the work to get your baby to sleep. Yeah,
Exactly. But we wish so
for
hard.
sure. Right.
We
Exactly.
plead, we do all the things. Wonderful. Well, Tamiko, thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and I would love to have you back on. And perhaps in our next round, we can get some questions from our listeners. And I think this will be amazing. Again, Tamiko's website is sleepwellwakehappy.com. I'll put up all of her information up on the website.
Oh my gosh, thank
So I
you
hope
so
you guys
much for
enjoyed
having me,
this
and I would love
episode.
to come
Thank you so
back
much,
again.
Tamiko, for being here. If you enjoyed this episode of the Single Mama's Guide podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Google Play. Share your insights, takeaways, and inspiration by following the Single Mama's Guide on Instagram and Facebook.